Hip-hop, one of the biggest music genres in history. With artists still recording hip-hop tracks in mainstream music today, it's definitely one of the most important genres in music history. But who was first to make hip-hop music? Hip-hop originated in the Bronx area of New York City with many influences from jazz, soul, 1940s R&B, and rock and roll. But how? How could these old genres that your grandparents might have owned influence what we know now as hip-hop? The reason for this is the Bronx was a very poor area. No one had the money for equipment to create tracks, let alone buy them. The solution was to borrow old tracks from family and friends and play only the drum track. This is called sampling. Sampling was very important for the hip-hop scene because it allowed DJs to take drum beats from things they already owned, such as their parents' old records, and play them on turntables. Sampling was very important to the hip-hop scene because it allowed DJs to make a beat for MCs to rap over. One of the most important artists that was sampled heavily was James Brown. Brown was sampled heavily because his tracks had very unique drum beats that were very easy to rap for MC to. James Brown's The Funky Drummer is one of the sampled hip-hop tracks of all time, being sampled over 1,000 times for many tracks. James Brown laid the foundation for early hip-hop and influenced hip-hop heavily. But he was not the father of hip-hop. Someone else held that title. DJ Kool Herc. DJ Kool Herc is considered to be the father of hip-hop due to him being the one who introduced the Bronx to toasting, a form of rapping over background music. Herring. It was a tradition originating in 1950s Jamaica by a man named Count Machuutki. But the most important piece of culture Herc brought from Jamaica was the sound system. Jamaican sound systems were like nothing anyone had seen at the time. By linking multiple loud bassy speakers together, you could create your own concert anywhere. So they did. The people of the Bronx started throwing parties in the street for the locals. DJs would sample drum beats from old tracks and artists would MC over these beats to entertain the masses. Herc was one of the first people to do this, along with people like Grandmaster Flash and Kurtis Blow. This is what we know today as hip-hop.